I've always said the best part about building something with your own two hands is that you know every inch of it, the way it smells after rain, how the wind bends through the grass, even how the ground feels under your boots. My land wasn't just dirt on a map. It was 20 years of sweat, busted knuckles, and stubbornness turned into something real. 240 acres of Texas scrub mesquite and pale quartz sand. And tucked away in the far west corner was my favorite part, a shimmering dune I'd spent 5 years building up, one truckload at a time. I wasn't stockpiling sand for decoration. I had plans: a deep freshwater swimming pond, lined with clay, and a perfect little beach for my future grandkids. That sand was clean-tested, expensive, and off-limits until I was ready. I treated it like treasure. Then came the divorce. I won't drag you through the ugly parts, but let's just say a woman who loves HOA luncheons and a man who thinks a horse trough is a perfectly good hot tub aren't built to last forever. 5 months of lawyers' mediation and overpriced coffee later, I was finally back on the ranch full-time. My foreman had quit in the middle of winter, and the cameras I meant to install before Christmas never got put up. The ranch had been running on autopilot, and I figured it was time to breathe again. Fix fences, mend the roof, get back to normal. Then one morning, I saw it. The west side of my dune didn't look right. At first I thought maybe the wind had done some carving, but sand doesn't vanish in perfect straight cuts. I walked the perimeter twice, then spotted the tracks, wide dual axle prints I didn't recognize. Not my flatbed, not anything in my barn. That night I dug out my old drone, flew it over the ridge, compared the shots to last year's maps. Half the southern face of the dune had been scooped clean off. 5 tons of sand gone. I sent a sample to the lab just to be sure, and when the report came back showing exactly how much was missing, I knew in my gut this wasn't weather. This was theft. I didn't call the sheriff right away. Instead, I went to work the quiet way. I set up 3 trail cameras, one hidden in the scrub, one on the old cattle fence, one tucked inside a busted owl box on the power pole. Motion-triggered night vision satellite upload. Then I waited. For 2 weeks I pretended nothing was wrong, fixing my barn by day and watching the horizon at night. Every morning I checked those cameras like I was checking a trap line. And then just after 3 a.m. on a Tuesday, the trap snapped shut. The footage was crystal clear. A dark green dump truck rolled off the county road into my fire lane. No company logo, just reflective tape. A flatbed with a compact loader followed behind it. 3 guys in neon vests, 2 masked ones smoking like they were on a coffee break, digging into my dune with surgical precision. Load after load, truck after truck. They came back the next night, and the next. On the 3rd night, one of them made a mistake. The license plate caught the glare just right. Texas plate, registered to Coastal Materials and hauling a company I knew had contracts with a new HOA development a couple miles away. A place called Clearwater Bluffs. I didn't sleep much that night. By Saturday, I'd gathered enough footage to fill a hard drive, so I drove out to see Clearwater Bluffs for myself. Their website had a big shiny banner, grand opening of Clearwater Community Beach. I parked on a bluff overlooking the place, launched the drone again, and there it was, my sand spread in a perfect crescent around their artificial lagoon. Same platinum tint, same rake lines. I didn't even have to sneak in. The grand opening was open to the public, food trucks, ribbon cutting, even a guitarist singing Jimmy Buffett covers. And there in the middle of it all was Marcia Lane, HOA president, clipboard clutched like a weapon. I walked straight up. "Afternoon," I said, tipping my hat. "You the one behind this new beach?" She didn't even look at me. "If you're a resident, please get a wristband at registration." "Not a resident," I said, "but I do believe I own the majority of the beach you're standing on." That got her attention. She looked me over like I was some stray dog. "I'm sorry, who are you?" "Name's Caleb Mercer. I own the ranch west of here. The one with the dune you've been strip mining in the dead of night." Her fake smile twitched just enough for me to notice. "That's a serious accusation." "And a true one," I said, pulling out my phone and showing her the still frame of the truck on my land. "Your contractor. Your truck. My sand." Marcia's tone went from sugary to sharp. "Perhaps if you had chosen to be part of the community, instead of excluding yourself, this could have been collaborative." "You mean when I refused to join your HOA 10 years ago, because I didn't want anyone telling me what color to paint my porch swing?" "You live within the district boundaries," she shot back. "You benefit from our roads and infrastructure. That makes you part of the system." I couldn't help but laugh. "So now my land is fair game. You stole 5 tons of material, and you're calling it community enrichment." She adjusted her sunglasses. "Natural resources are a shared trust. If you wanted control, you should have filed an exclusion. As it stands, you've been silent for years. That implies consent." I just stared at her. "You're going to regret saying that," I said finally. "You'll be hearing from my lawyer." By Monday morning, I was sitting in my attorney's office with a hard drive and a folder of documents. Dale, my lawyer, is a quiet bulldog of a man who hates bullies even more than I do. By Wednesday, we had filed suit for theft, trespass, and damages. 2 days later, the HOA hit back with a countersuit, claiming the dune was part of a shared environmental feature. They even produced a document signed by my ex-wife supposedly granting them access. Only problem, the signature was forged, didn't even spell her name right. We sent it to a handwriting expert, came back, confirmed fake. That's when things went from theft to conspiracy. Dale subpoenaed payment records. Turned out the HOA had been paying Coastal Materials through an off-the-books fund, bypassing normal accounting. That fund was linked to a shell consulting company run by a man named Rick Holden, who just happened to be the same guy my ex-wife had been sending monthly payments to for investment advice. Dale brought in a forensic accountant who followed the money straight into an offshore trust with 3 names on it: Rick Holden, Marcia Lane, and my ex-wife. My stomach turned. They'd been planning this while I was stuck in divorce court running my land like it was some private ATM. Then came the PR smear campaign. Overnight, local Facebook groups called me a sand hoarder. Radio hosts nicknamed me Dust Devil, and somebody dumped a pile of playground sand at my gate with a sign that said, "Share." Dale told me to keep quiet, let the evidence speak, and we did. When trial day came, the courthouse was packed. Reporters, HOA residents, even folks from the next county over who'd had their own fights with Marcia's board. I wore my oldest boots and sat there while the jury watched hours of night vision footage, truck after truck, creeping onto my property. They saw the sand analysis proving it was identical. They saw the payment trail, the fake documents, the Cayman Trust. On day 4, Dale called a surprise witness, Rick's former assistant, who'd kept copies of internal memos. One email from Marcia read, "He's distracted, he won't notice. We can finish by spring." The courtroom went dead silent. By the 5th day, even the jury looked angry. Marcia's lawyers tried blaming the contractor, then claimed it was an infrastructure improvement project. The professor of land use law we brought in practically laughed out loud at that. The verdict came back in under 3 hours, guilty on all counts: theft, trespass, forgery, conspiracy. The judge ordered the HOA dissolved within 90 days, its assets frozen, and every grain of sand removed from that lagoon and returned to my property under state supervision. Damages awarded $570,000 plus legal fees. Marcia was let out in handcuffs right there in court. Rick lost his consulting license and most of his assets. My ex-wife took a plea deal, probation, community service, and a permanent ban from managing anyone's finances. It took me 3 months to rebuild that dune, but I did it myself this time. Hauled in new loads, graded them by hand, installed ground sensors, infrared cameras, even built a 20-foot guard tower on the ridge I jokingly call Marsha Watch. Maybe overkill, but it makes me sleep better. The best part: the court officially marked my property as independent rural land, no HOA, no petitioning, no oversight allowed within 2 miles. The story went viral. Local papers called me the Sand King. People sent me whiskey. A kid painted me standing on a dune like some cowboy Zeus. But what really stuck with me was the letter from a retired couple in Georgia who said, "Thanks for reminding us we're not crazy for wanting to be left alone." That one I framed. These days, mornings are quiet again. I sit by the pond with coffee, listen to the wind over the dune, watch the cameras, just because I can. And at the ranch entrance, there's a new iron sign sunk into 3 feet of concrete that reads, "Private land. No trespassing. No HOA. No Marsha. And no, it's not your sand." People stop to take pictures. Some laugh. And me, I just smile, because I took back every inch they tried to steal. What do you think? Was I too harsh, or just getting the justice I deserved? Drop your thoughts in the comments. Tell me where you stand on HOAs, and if you've ever had a neighbor cross the line, I want to hear that story too.